mystery hunters. Dead.
Or alive. I'm on the trail of the real Jesse James.
He died when he was only 34. Or did he? Some say he faked his own death to escape the law. The truth is in his bones.
I go to a creepy old castle. The family that lives there says they get regular visits from their long-lost relatives. Norman, are you here?
And if you don't have ghosts at your house, no problem. Delving Dave shows how to freak out family units and haunt your own evening dinner.
This is Mystery Hunters.
After the American Civil War, the Wild West is full of outlaws. And one of the baddest of the bad is Jesse James.
Jesse and his brother Frank head up the James gang. Then, on April 3rd, 1882,
The law finally catches up with Jesse. Whoa, George. Or does it?
I'm on the trail of Jesse James to find out if he got away with the biggest con of his criminal career. It all starts when the James gang messes up a robbery. Jesse, his wife, and 2 children go into hiding in Missouri using fake identities.
This is the house where Jesse James was hiding out under the fake name Tom Howard. There was a $10,000 reward for Jesse's capture. A ton of money back then.
Bob, that was some job we did last week, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Now on April 3rd, 1882,
Ma's picture's crooked.
Jesse climbs on a chair to straighten out a picture. With his back turned, he reaches out and his friend Bob Ford shoots him to claim the reward money. There's evidence that someone was shot here, all right. I can see the spot where the bullet went in. Now, over the years, people have chipped away at it, so they've had to put up this frame to protect it. This is where Jesse James' body was buried. He was 34 years old when he was shot.
According to the official story, many people watched as the outlaw's coffin got lowered into the grave. But was it really Jesse they saw buried that day? Some people say he faked his own death and got away.
I'm on the farm where Jesse James grew up. It's now a museum.
This museum has every possible bit of information about Jesse James, including this, the last picture of him ever taken, lying dead in his coffin.
If that was Jesse, then how do you explain the fact that I'm now 2 states away, in Texas, in another cemetery, in front of Jesse James's tombstone?
Another Jesse James grave, only the man buried here was over 100 years old when he died. Not 34 like the person buried in the official grave. Is it possible that Jesse lived to a ripe old age? Could he really fake his own death and get away with it? Digging up his bones might give me some answers. And I know someone who can help me out.
This is Leslie Castle. The Leslie family has owned this property for hundreds of years. Members of the family still live here. But the strange part is, some of them are dead. Can the ghosts of your relatives come back after they die? The Leslies seem to think so. The most famous ghost of Castle Leslie is Norman Leslie. He was a soldier in the First World War. On October 18th, 1914, a worker saw Norman standing over there by the shore of this lake. Everyone knew he was away in France, fighting in the war. How could he have gotten home? The worker went to go tell Norman's mother, Leonie, that he was back. But he never showed up in the house. Later, a message arrived saying that Norman had been killed in a battle in France. Did the ghost of Norman Leslie really return to his family home? And is he still here today? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Christina.
I'm Tarka.
Nice to meet you.
Come on in.
This is Tarka King. He grew up in the castle. Is this a portrait of Norman?
Yes, it is.
Norman was your great uncle. Did you ever see his ghost while you were living here?
I have as a child, but I didn't know at the time it was Norman.
As a kid, Tarka remembers always seeing an adult walk into his bedroom, past the bed in which he was lying, and into his closet. He never thought much of it until one day.
We did comment to my parents that who was the grown-up that was coming into our bedroom and always going into the cupboard. They never seemed to come out. There was a stunned silence from my parents.
You must have been terrified. Tarka thinks that the adult he used to see coming into his room was Norman's ghost.
That's scary. It makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
This is the room Tarka is talking about. Norman?
You don't have to live in a castle to be haunted by the ghosts of dead relatives.
David, you left this in the bathroom again.
Thanks, Nana. Just ask Nicola Forker. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. Take a look on the Mystery Illustrator. Dear Doubting Dave, my granddad passed away a few years ago. But I believe that his ghost is still at our house. For some reason, since he died, the kitchen door keeps opening by itself, and I think it could be him. Do you think my granddad's ghost is haunting our house? Well, Nicola, lots of people believe they've seen or felt the ghost of a loved one after he or she has died. And it's not surprising. It's hard to lose someone you love. So when that person dies, you want to believe that it's possible for them to come back and visit you. But the truth is, people tend to see what they want to see. But so far, even though lots of people say they've seen them, there's no real proof that ghosts exist. Of course, it's still creepy when something in your house looks like it's moving on its own. But any carpenter will tell you that usually when doors open by themselves, it's because the door or the door frame or even your house is a little crooked. So gravity pulls the door open. Sometimes the door might even get a bit of help from a draft. So, Nicola, I don't think your grandfather's ghost is really haunting your house.
David, are you wearing clean underwear? Huh?
And frankly, I envy you.
Huh?